Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know what? Let's talk about Porsha and Curtis, because my goodness, was that such an annoying and aggravating scene in the beginning. I'm like, Porsha, what are you saying? I don't understand. This woman is literally sitting there talking in circles for a good 25 minutes. She's going back, she's going forward. 1 minute she's sitting there talking about how, they can give it a try. The next minute she's like, well, I don't know if it's such a good idea because you're on the rebound, this, that, and the third. I had this plan in my head when I was sitting there talking before, but now I'm saying out loud, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't even know why I should even be here. And then this chick proceeds to walk on out. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, Porsha, there could have been so many ways that she could have sat there and have this conversation with him. She didn't even have to do it when he said so. She could have did it when she actually got her thoughts clear. Because going to him, doing this back and forth crap, halfway through it, I'm like, you know what, I'm good. You can go. Like, I'm good. I mean, even Porsha, and we all know how I feel about Porsha, but after a while, I was like, God damn it, woman. So she's about to sit there and get ready to leave. And, Curtis grabs her arm, or grabs her hand or whatever. It's like, don't go. Stay. Let's sit there and talk about this. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sit there and pressure you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm pressuring you right now. And Porsha was like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, whoa, sweetheart. No. No. Curtis, you didn't pressure her. She came to you. And Porsha, what the hell are you talking about? You came to him. You literally came to him all dolled up, ready to sit there and give a confession or tell him how you feel, and then you do this back and forth crap, but you have the audacity to sit there and be like, oh, wait, you're pressuring me. No, sweetheart, that's not, You're not 12. No. We're not doing this. It's like she had the mentality of a 12-year-old after a while. They're doing more of this double talk. And finally, they both agree, to give this thing a go, and a kiss, and that's when Jordan walked right on in. After giving a sterling lecture from Stella. I talked about Stella ad nauseum, about how I feel, about her just being a busybody, and even though her heart may be in the right place, she's delusional as hell when it comes towards butting in people's conversations, butting in people's business, and not understanding that it's not her place. And that whole scene was about that. This is when Jordan was like, I didn't ask you. I didn't need you to sit there and jump in and fight my battles and stuff. I didn't ask you to do that. I'm doing what Curtis wants me to do. But she's just like, no, that's not it. God, that woman in her loud ass mouth. Oh my goodness. Halfway through, I started writing. I was like, screw it. I'm not even bothering to sit there and try to keep up with this woman is saying, because it's just. She's like, oh, I'm all old school, and this, back in the day when I made that, no one cares, sweetheart, no one cares. I don't understand why you keep saying, back in my day, whenever somebody starts off with the back in my day, that's when the eyes start rolling, and that's when you just start to tune out. So she's giving her a lecture, like she asked for it, and just spewing all sorts of self-righteous crap that's coming out of her mouth. And with that being said, for all her nonsense, and her provoking, And I get that she was trying to get Jordan to fight for her marriage, but my goodness, she was annoying as hell. But that being said, the woman did make a point. You know, when she asked her about, did you sign the divorce papers yet? Why not? What's going on? Of course, the minute she said that, Jordan had a bunch of excuses. Oh, well, I'm working, and this and that and the third, and I gotta get home, and I'm tired, and, all this other stuff like that. And it was just like, yeah, exactly. Because you don't want the marriage to end. You don't want the marriage to end. You're trying to do what's right for him, and I get that, but you're not fighting for your marriage. If that's what you want to do, that's what you should do. And that's when Stella was like, so will you just think that the longer that you don't sign it, the less likely he's going to move on, he's just going to totally forget about it? And I'm like, as much as I can't stand this woman, can't stand the very sight of her, she ain't wrong. She's not wrong. And that's what it came down to. Stella was like, listen, you need to go out there, you need to fight for your marriage. If you want to fight for your marriage, you do it. And she went all the way down there, and she was too late. Now she's sitting there crying. Man. That's going to be a mess when they see each other. I mean, when Porsha and Jordan see each other. As you know, like, they started off being all friendly and cordial and stuff like that, talking about, that deep conversation that they was talking about with, like, Liz and, women of color and stuff like that, and that's going to go out the window. That's going to be something. Let's talk about Sam and Dante. I don't even know how to describe the scene. I mean, Sam... Okay, so first of all, Sam came in there. Gladys acting like the usual unclassy beep that she is. And, talking to Olivia about what she deserves and what her sons deserve because of, her help and how her shoulder constantly hurts when it's winter or it's cold or some crap like that. Like, just being the self-entitled POS of a person that she is. And finally she leaves. Because, my goodness, every time that she's on screen, that woman is just disgusting. Just low-class, bottom-feeding type of person. I was going on the on Instagram on like the GH site or whatever. GH page. And I saw a bunch of people, like, they were commenting about the scene with Gladys, and they were like, oh man, I love to hate that woman. She's a woman that I love to hate. And I'm just like, that's still a thing? I mean, I mean, dead serious. Like, is that still a thing? Do you actually enjoy watching characters that you hate? I'm not even joking. I mean, dead serious about that. Because I can't sit there and say that I've ever enjoyed loving, hating someone. Like, I feel like that's such an old term that was back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, when you didn't really have that many options, cable wasn't really too much of a big thing. You didn't really have a lot of streaming services. I mean, my point is that when I look at a comment like that, she's a woman that I just love to hate. It's like, or she's a character I just love to hate. It's like, no, if I just really hate them, then I'm just going to watch something else. I'm never going to just subject myself into watching so many characters that I just love to hate. I don't have the time, the energy, or the patience to do that. So I always find it, really interesting when I see people comment about her, like, oh, I just love to hate this woman. It's like, really? Like seriously? I'm trying not to sit there and be too mean to people that do that, because I generally want to try to understand is that a thing that you do? So anyway, Gladys walks off. And at some point, Olivia's not there talking to Sam. They're talking about Austin. At some point in this conversation, Sam almost slips up about kissing Dante. Dante walks in. He does his best to sit there and try to recover her out of the situation of spilling the beans. With that being said, Olivia's like, I don't understand a word that you just said, but I'm gonna go somewhere else for like a little bit. And then this, I don't know if you want to call it a funny misunderstanding, because it wasn't funny to me, it was just kind of annoying. At one point, I think Sam got offended by Dante's comment about, did you tell her that I kissed you or whatever? And she was like, oh, are you like embarrassed or something like that? Are you embarrassed to sit there and say that we kissed or something? I'm like, Sam, seriously? You're the one that ran off. And I was totally 100% with Dante. I was like, you're the one that ran off when he wants to sit there and talk to you about the kiss. And she was all like, oh, I didn't do it. I'm not 12. I'm like, are you sure? Sam, are you sure? Because you're acting like you're 12 right now. And to be honest, Dante, you're not that far behind this conversation. I mean, they just start both going back and forth about, oh, well, I'm not embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? I mean, you didn't. And it just gets into this stupid misunderstanding about how both sides feel like the other one is either uncomfortable or just very flippant about the kiss, like that other person doesn't really mean that much. So they both take offense. At one point, Olivia comes back and Olivia's like, oh, well, you see two couples arguing and stuff like that and they think it's bad for business or something. So, like, whatever it is, take it in private. I was like, I didn't see anyone, like, raising their voice. I just saw two people talking. I mean, granted, they didn't have the most pleasant looks on their face, but they weren't fighting. What the hell are you talking about? What kind of overly sensitive ass guests do you have at this, I guess, this bougie ass place, so never mind. By the way, because I didn't say this in the beginning, happy birthday to Shakira. I hope I'm sitting there saying your name right. I hope you're having a great, lovely, and amazing birthday. Yeah, they didn't seem like they were, like, arguing or anything like that. They just seemed like they were talking. Anyway, they both continue to have this stupid misunderstanding. And then they both just kind of walk off thinking that the other person didn't really mean that much to them, or the kiss didn't mean that much to them, or something like that. Yep, it's pretty much Patrick and I was going to say Kelly, but Patrick and Sam over again. Whatever, I guess they got to sit there and pair up with someone, because reasons that we may never know. So yeah, that was the scene that happened. Now let's talk about more about Gladys. But before we get to that, let's talk about Brando and I seriously thought I was gonna spill this. Brando and Sasha. So Brando has a conversation. He pretty much tells Sasha that I don't want to be a part of the mob. It's not what I want to be, and I just want to be with you. So she's all happy, she's all giddy and everything like that. They're having a good time, and out of nowhere, it's like a black cloud. It's not a black cloud, it's just classless Gladys that just walks on in there and just like staring and like just have this like stink eye look. Like, it's so creepy. It's so creepy, and it's like you just want you to be the only woman. You know, it's like she wants her to be the only woman in her son's life. Do you understand how disgusting and creepy that is? That's just weird. She's just a damn weirdo. Okay. So she stands there for a little bit longer, and then she just kind of just throws herself into the conversation that no one really asked for. And then she starts spouting off about how Carly and the family owes us so much more, and you know, you're going to be getting in a second position to Jason, and yada yada yada. And Brando's like, I don't want that life. I don't want that mob life. I'm good. And at first, Gladys just can't take him seriously. It's like, oh, I guess it's a stalling tactic, but you know, we're owed this. We are entitled to this. We deserve this. No, sweetheart, you feel like you deserve this. You feel like you're entitled to this. Why the hell are you sitting there speaking for him for? But she's just going on and on and on. And finally, Brando just shuts down the conversation like, no, I'm not doing it. I want to be with her. And that's it. So he starts looking at her and smiling and everything like that. And, you know, Gladys just gives more the creepy, weirdo eye stare that she's been doing the entire time. And it's like, oh, I want you to go give me a drink. She has a conversation with Sasha. And she says some sort of offhand remark. I don't know if it was a threat or something. I'm like, you know, it's like every time you see this woman now, she just goes lower and lower and lower. She goes lower and lower and lower. It's like there's no place that she wouldn't go. You know, when Cyrus was sitting there calling her a bunch of names and saying she was a bottom feeder, she did this, she did that, she'll sell her soul to the highest bidder, he wasn't wrong. As much as some people did not like Cyrus, he was not wrong about a lot of things. And I always go back to my favorite clip about actions and consequences with him and Julian. And that was a great scene. Because there was people that didn't even like him. There was like, yeah, I gotta side with him on that one. I mean, this woman practically, it felt like she just threatened a pregnant woman. And to be honest, this really shouldn't surprise anyone. I mean, she sold her own son out. She sold her own son out. She sold a 15-year-old Turkish boy out. I mean, this is who this woman is. And I can't sit there and say that I love to hate this woman because I've seen too many goddamn women just like her. So I can't do it. But yeah, that's where we are with Gladys. Just every day, just constantly sitting there sinking down to the bottom because that's what she is. Oh, and I forgot, Terry was there. Terry was there, and I kind of sat there and was like, why is she here? I mean, she came there, she might have bought like maybe 1 or 2 drinks, and then she just left. And to be honest, I actually had to sit there and circle her name just because I was like, I'm missing someone. Oh, Terry, yeah. Yeah, she didn't really do anything. I mean, she was there, and I guess she kind of encouraged her, maybe, but other than that, yep, she was just there to collect the check. So, let's talk about Liz and Finn. I'm missing someone. And Anna, because that's okay. So yeah, Finn is still feeling guilty about what he did. He's like, I can't get that I can't get that out of my conscience. I almost killed someone. I mean, did I kill someone? I'm like, bro, you do realize, like, people do walk past here, right? Like, we're just so flippant at this point about just talking about killings and dead bodies and not doing a damn thing about it, and anybody could just walk on in, and you know how nosy Amy is, but whatever. And Liz just once again is like, you did the right thing and you shouldn't have said anything, and I'm glad you sat there and listened to me, pretty much. You know, one of the very few things that me and Brock TV can actually agree on is that Finn should have never listened to Liz. Should have never listened to Liz. Because if he would have just said it was self-defense, he would have been fine. But instead, he listened to that stupid dingbat and was just like, okay, now you're implicated in it. I mean, you have 3 boys, but I guess that doesn't really matter. So once again, she just kind of like encouraged him on a bad decision that they made. It's like, oh, you rid the world of evil, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. At some point, Anna comes over, and Anna's like, she talks to Liz, and she's like, I need a list of, everyone on staff that was at the night of Peter's disappearance. Liz just has that look like, why are you looking into it for? I don't understand. But she starts to type up a list or whatever. At some point, Anna talks to Finn about the whole thing. And it looks like Finn, once again, is about to sit there and tell Anna the truth. Of course, he's about to, but then Liz just walks up and is like, hey, I got that list. And then looks at Finn like, you weren't about to say anything, were you? You better not say anything. I'm so glad I showed up when I did. That's the look that she had on her face. Just looking at the look down on her face, it's just like, I got nothing. I really have nothing. Anyway, she has a list, and they're sitting there talking. Now, at some point, Chase literally comes out of nowhere. The last, maybe 10 minutes of the show, he comes in, and, he talks to them for a little bit, and then he leaves. And I was just like, I'm not going to lie, that would have been another person I probably would have wound up missing. I saw the previews. And once again, Liz is like, we got to get Jason to sit there and handle this dead body situation. And, Finn, this whole thing is so stupid. It's so stupid. I know I'm always not saying this. And I know I sound like a broken record. But when I see scenes like this, it just brings it all back up again. Okay. Really? Valentine talks to Brooklyn. Which Brooklyn is still feeling guilty. Every time Valentine looks at the baby and talks about the baby and stuff like that with love, Brooklyn just, once again, feels guilty. Up until the point where she changed the conversation about Anna. And they, Valentine gets, talking about Anna about the history and, like how they, met and stuff like that. But he's not really giving too much away. He's not talking about his feelings about her. He's keeping a lot of stuff close to the vest. So, he talks about Anna for a little bit. At some point, Chase comes in. Valentine leaves. And, Chase is like, what's going on? Like, why do you have that look in your face? So I'm wondering, and I doubt it, but I'm wondering, is Brooklyn going to sit there and tell Chase? Because I feel like she's going to have to sit there and tell someone. Like, having all that emotion and that guilt, paranoia, whatever you want to sit there and call it, having all that just bottled up to yourself and no one to talk to about it, she's going to wind up telling somebody. And I feel like that person is going to be Chase. I'm not going to lie. Kind of feel like I kind of got through everything. Before I do go, I just want to thank everyone. Just for the comments, support and stuff like that, and just, encouraging me, and, because here's the thing. Whenever I do these reviews, I want to make sure they come out good. And sometimes it may even take me a little bit longer to put out a video because, I'd rather put out a video at like 9 o'clock knowing that it's good, knowing that it's great, or at least my level of great, rather than just to put out a whatever kind of video. Yesterday I put out, I recorded it 3 times because I didn't feel like it was good enough. And I finally put, a video out that was good, good and stuff like that. And, when episodes like yesterday happened, and I was just like, I can't tell if it was me or was it the episode, And I want to thank everyone, for just, being supportive and stuff like that. And I don't know, I guess, like, it's hard to sit there and describe it. I just want to thank everyone for the support and kind words and stuff like that. It's something that I never thought that I would really get, doing doing videos and stuff like that on YouTube. So I just want to thank everyone. even just for watching, even when it comes out like super late, like later than I wanted to come out. I want to thank everyone. I also want to thank people who commented, who wrote comments, and for some odd reason, and I do not understand why, has gotten their comments deleted by YouTube for one reason or another. Alicia, thank you. And anyone else. And I say Alicia because sometimes I always see like I guess like it's purple or whatever. And I'll see it in one comment section. But then when I go to my actual studios and try to look for it, it's like not there. So I want to thank you for just like commenting and stuff like that, even though sometimes YouTube just decides to be YouTube. And anyone else that raised comments and for some odd reason it's not there. But yeah, so specifically I want to thank everyone for just the kind words and stuff like that. I know I've been saying that like for past 30 seconds, but it means a lot. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What did you think about this whole mess? Specifically, what did you thought about this? Well, what did you thought about this whole mess? Or this whole episode? Write it down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I will see you in the next video.